So we're back for another Ask Me Some BS, and this time we're going to look at unappreciated or maybe movies that get way more hate than they should in the comic book genre. So let's get into that.
I don't have a theme song, so this is a placeholder.
So this question comes from the Loose Goose, spelled differently, but that's it. I got that one right on the first try. And they say, what CBMs get too much hate? So honestly, I think there's quite a few. I think the Tim Burton Batman movies have kind of slipped into this negative by fanboys. And here's how things work. Before I get into this, let me tell you how it works. Fans are bandwagoners. You know this, I know this is true. They all have to bandwagon the new hotness, right? If it's new, it's popular, it's hot, you're gonna take those glasses off, put on your fanboy blinders, you're gonna go, it doesn't matter, because this is the new hotness, this is all I got. And you largely saw this with The Dark Knight. People loved Jack Nicholson as the Joker. And here comes Heath Ledger's, and suddenly, Batman 89 sucks. It sucks. I'm sorry. It's a shit movie, right? Shit movie. Fuck that movie. Fuck it. That was literally everywhere. And I'm just like, why? Why do you do this? You know, why? No, it's not. It's not a shit movie. It's not maybe as good as the new one because of the special effects, and maybe the new one has a more grounded approach that you're looking for, but it's not a shit movie, right? Batman 89 is one of the most important movies in comic book history, if not the most important comic book movie of all time. Okay, it's not a bad movie. Sure, there's bad connotations with Batman Returns. I hate that movie, but I understand why people love it. To me personally, I cannot stand that movie. I actually skip it when I watch all the Batman movies. I watch that movie maybe once every 8 to 10 years, and that's it. I cannot stand it, but that's a topic for that. That's another video within itself. But when you think about that, people just like to bandwagon the new stuff. You saw this when Batman v Superman came out. Ben Affleck, suddenly everybody's going, man, Christian Bale sucks. Really? Guy on Facebook who I've been friends with for 15 years in real life and on Facebook for like 8. Really? He sucks. Let me go back and look through your profile posts. Oh, look. Your Facebook image for 2 years is goddamn Christian Bale as Batman, right? Of course he is. Oh, look, you're talking about how you gave the movie a 10 out of 10. Talk about how Bale is the best Batman ever. Suddenly, the new hotness Ben Affleck is in, and suddenly, fuck Christian Bale, man, and fuck that movie. He's not even Batman. See, that's the mentality, right? So in that term, a lot of comic book movies get a lot more hate after they come out. Like, one of the personal movies that I really like, that I've grown to like more as the time has gone by, is Superman Returns. That movie really gets a lot of unfounded hate. Now, you have to think about how that movie's coming into its own. First, it's a sequel to Superman 2. So, Superman flying around in that world, punching Zod through buildings, would not work. Because that universe doesn't accept that. The confines and the rules of that universe don't accept that. But if you watch that as a legit sequel to Superman 2, that is a stellar movie. They got so much right in it that it gets too much hate because at the time it came out, it's coming around, and there's all the Transformers hype and all the Hollywood CG explosions now, and that was what people expected, right? Granted, I would have liked a little more action, but what it got was a solid Superman movie that understood Superman, specifically the Donner version, and that delivered. Another movie I think gets a lot of unfounded hate from comic books, Batman Begins. Batman Begins is, in my opinion, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, in the top 3 with ease. And you look at that, and a lot of people go, yeah, Batman Begins is cool and all, but The Dark Knight is a better movie. And I'm just like, well, I guess, maybe, sort of. Depends on how you look at it. I mean, sure, The Dark Knight doesn't even have Gotham anymore. It's just Chicago. Sure, The Dark Knight doesn't even have Batman, and it's just a Joker movie with Two-Face cameo that completely wastes him, and Batman's just kind of in the background. You look at Batman Begins, it's a complete movie. It has Batman, Gotham is a goddamn character in there, like it feels like Gotham, it's dirty, it's cringy, everybody gets their time, he's building a relationship, like, the movie understood Batman, but people just like to turn on it because it didn't have a great performance by Heath Ledger, so, fuck Batman Begins, I guess, right? There's a couple more movies, but let's talk about Marvel for a second. the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trilogy. Let's focus more specifically on the first two, Spider-Man 1 and 2. The Amazing Spider-Man is coming out. Man, fuck Tobey Maguire. Man, fuck Spider-Man. Excuse me? If not for fucking Spider-Man 1 and 2, specifically Spider-Man 2, comic book movies would not fucking exist today. Alright? Marvel, the MCU, would have never got a fucking shot. Ever. And what exactly is bad about Spider-Man 2 again? Well, let's think about it for a second. It's strong enough to hold its own one goddamn villain. One villain. No comic book movie goddamn does that today, okay? Just one villain. No, there's always puppets in the back and all this, and 2 villains and 3 villains and goddamn extra cameos raining on you and all that shit, right? Even the Marvel Cinematic Universe is guilty of this. Spider-Man 2, on the other hand, came on the heels of Spider-Man 1, which that movie, after Batman v Superman almost destroyed comic book industry in movies as you know it, came out and delivered to you what felt like a comic book come to life. And when you go look at The Amazing Spider-Man, put those two side by side. I want you to do some research. Watch those movies one after another. Watch Tobey Maguire. I know he's not exactly, oh look, he's perfect Spider-Man. He's not. But like Chris Nolan's Batman, they made a good movie first. It doesn't matter if the character isn't as good or as comic accurate as Andrew Garfield's when you got a good movie. A good movie is more important than having a correct character with a shit film around them. Think about that. Would anybody like the Dark Knight trilogy, right? If it suddenly was infused with a bunch of fucking cameos everywhere, right? And suddenly, oh, well, Batman, he's just like the comic, right? But the script sucks. That would be terrible, right? But those movies have tight scripts, just like Spider-Man 2. Like, that movie showed to the world that you can come back and fix some of the mistakes you have from the first movie, tell a great story, and not only that, you can win back fans with just being a good movie. I know a ton of people that turn on to the comic books and decide to pick up their first comics because they saw Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. And suddenly after The Amazing Spider-Man, those movies are shit. And suddenly now that Tom Holland is there, all the other Spider-Man movies are shit, right? Those movies just suck. They're fucking terrible, right? And it's like, no. Once again, you're just doing that whole bandwagon thing that you people do. Why don't you, just because the new hotness is like there, right? And you're like, oh, this is the greatest shit ever, right? Because whatever. Why are people suddenly forgetting that we had these great things that made what we have today possible? I just don't get it. I, in my heart of hearts, am never going to come out there and when the Batman comes out or whatever with Ben Affleck, even if it's better than Batman Begins, I'm never going to come out there and go, man, Batman Begins is shit. Why would I? That movie was such a huge step in the right direction to get you comic book movies where they are today, that if you say that and you're a person who used to like it, you're literally just showing what's wrong with today's comic book fans. You're bandwagoners, and the moment the new shit is out, you're going to abandon the old one because you're fake. And this happens all the time. And I mentioned, what, 3 movies in this video? There's a whole dozen more I could talk about, which I'm not even going to. But that's just some of the movies I think are highly underrated.
Hey guys, Armin here, just reminding you that this video was made possible thanks to patrons. If you guys are interested in supporting us and making sure we keep the lights on, check out our Patreon where you can join other fans in supporting the CBC, delivering content you guys have come to love and expect. And if you can't do that, give us a like and a subscribe. That goes a long way too.